There are 4 recommendations that we have for owners when it comes to marketing a home. And the first is wait until the home is rent ready before you post it online. Because what ends up happening is if you post it too soon before the repairs are done, for one thing, it's hard to get high quality photos as repairs are ongoing or even as a tenant still living there. But what really happens is the Zillow listing turns stale. So your Zillow listing is now, let's say, 45 days old. And a tenant's looking at it and they say, okay, I've got, these 10 homes I'm looking at, but this one home has been on the market for 45 days. Why is it not rented yet? Something must be wrong with it. Maybe it smells. Maybe there's a weird neighbor. Maybe it's overpriced. I don't know. But they end up saying, I'm not even going to go take a look at that home. I'm just going to look at the others in that neighborhood. Now, that tenant doesn't know that you had just pre-listed the home, but again, your Zillow listing turns stale and you end up doing more harm than good. If you are going to list your home before it's rent ready, we personally recommend don't do it more than maybe 5 days before the home is ready to be shown to a prospective applicant who's going to move in and see the home in the condition that it's going to be rented in. The second recommendation that we have is to get high quality photos and video walkthrough of the home. Most of the time, your iPhone is going to be good enough to get a high quality photo. Ideally, if you have an iPhone 11 or 12 or newer, that comes with the upgraded camera, and so you can really get some really high quality shots. We recommend for a home that's maybe, let's say, 2,000 square feet, you're going to want about 30 photos of that home. So typically get about 3 of the yard, a few overview shots of the kitchen, 1 or 2 in each bedroom. We're also looking at the backyard, the garage. You're really just trying to show every perk and feature of the property. If you have an HOA and maybe there's a community swimming pool or a clubhouse, make sure you get photos of that as well. In regards to the video walkthrough, that's important because it enables you to show the layout of the home. Pull out your iPhone, start in the street, give a quick spin of the neighborhood to show what the surrounding homes look like, and then just walk them through the property. Just like you were showing maybe a friend or a family member your new home. We found that the video tour is really key in getting the property marketed and getting as many eyeballs on the home as possible. The third recommendation that we have is to really show the home as much as you can. And I know your schedule is going to be dependent on this. That's why some people hire property managers for the property management company to show the home. But if at all possible, try to open up your schedule for showings, not just weekends, because you might have some shift workers who are working on the weekend, but they can see it on a random Tuesday afternoon. So try to open up all sorts of mornings, afternoons, weekends are important because it's all a numbers game. The more people you can get to see the home, the more applications you can collect, and then the higher chance that somebody's going to get approved and you can get them moved in and start collecting rent. The fourth recommendation that we have is to price your home ever so slightly under market. Even $50 a month can be enough to really get a ton of eyeballs on the property. And it's a little bit counterintuitive at first because a lot of people think, well, I'm going to market the home, let's say $200 above market, just so I can find a tenant who is willing to pay that much more because they see just how special my home is. Well, unfortunately, a high quality tenant with a good job, good FICO score, low debt to income ratio, they're not really willing to overpay for things because that's why they have a good job, high FICO score, low debt to income ratio. And so the best way to attract those high quality tenants that know what they're worth, that know a deal when they see it, is to price that home either at or just ever so slightly below market so that you can get your home rented ASAP to a high quality tenant. Another thing to consider when it comes to pricing a rental, if you run the math, you're often better off to market your home at or slightly below market as opposed to above market. Because if you price it above market, it could sit for 2 or 3 months. Whereas if you price it at or slightly below market, it's going to rent in typically anywhere from 2 weeks, 3 weeks, sometimes even 4 weeks. But if you run the math on those two scenarios, you actually make more money in that first year with a at market or slightly below market rental than you would waiting for somebody to move in maybe one day at $200 above market. So those are just 4 things that we found helpful for best practices that we've encountered as we've been placing tenants for years and years. If you have any questions about property management or how Mesa does things, please feel free to give us a call and we'd love to talk with you. Our goal as property managers is to enable you to own rental property without it owning you.